and our AI component is running. And what I will do, the host will get this sent to them after the meeting, and I am going to start letting people into the room. Jennifer, this is your show. I will be here for technical support, and anything you or Tracy needs, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So.
Is everyone muted upon entry?
Yes, I do believe so.
Share in other platforms.
It looks like it is.
And I some webinar wherever you're at, so we can find out the conversation there.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. We'll get started here in just a minute or two. So if you need to grab your water, take a quick restroom break, grab your lunch, feel free to do so. We'll get started here in just a minute. All right, Jennifer, feel free to take it away.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, everybody, to our March Lunch and Learn. This is my first Lunch and Learn. I'm the volunteer manager to host and organize these things. So if there's any glitches, let me know and give us your honest feedback. But I'm really excited today. This is the very highly attended Lunch and Learn. So I think that means that we all are curious people today. I'm really pleased to introduce you to our speaker, Tracy Smith. She's an associate director and an email marketing expert at Ascend Marketing. She has over 20 years of expertise from her tenure in Fortune 500 tech companies. And throughout her career, she's led very successful teams in marketing strategy, product development, marketing communications, and campaign management. She's worked in a variety of sectors, including telecom, data centers, cloud, and SaaS offerings. And she really excels at making marketing and technology accessible to customers. Her achievements have been recognized with industry awards such as the ANA Email Marketer of the Year and the Hermes Platinum Award for Global Campaign Strategy. Tracy advocates for an exceptional customer experience as the foundation of a company's success, which I think we can all agree about. She feels privileged to sit on the ANA Email Experience Council Advisory Board for a second term in 2025. Outside of her professional accomplishments and pursuits, she is an avid traveler with a passion for museums, historical tours, and exploring local cuisines. She enjoys adventure activities like riding roller coasters and free diving. So not a person who is going to shy away from anything, especially modern email marketing. I just wanted to encourage you just before I turn it over to Tracy that we do have these Lunch and Learn programs on the first Thursday of every month. We've got a very exciting roster of speakers, and we will provide that information to you either at the end here or subsequent to thanking you for your attendance. We'll include those links in there. So without further ado, I would love for Tracy to begin her program, which today is how Apple and Google AI are impacting email marketing, and also some very good practical tips for everybody. Tracy, you can take it away.
Thank you, Jennifer. I know the word expert always makes me slightly uncomfortable because I always think there's someone that has to know more than I do. But I have a lot of experience in email marketing, and hopefully, the knowledge that we share today you find impactful to your marketing programs. I think everyone certainly uses email in their everyday life, personal and business. And if you happen to be an email marketer, big changes that happen. So we're just going to jump right in. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully everything goes smoothly as I take over. So here we go. So give me 1 second while I'm trying to get this to pop out. And thank you. Well, it's only doing it this way. So there we go. View, side-by-side gallery, and it's still doing weird things. So you know what? We're just going to, come on, side-by-side gallery. I know, it's,
We're being patient.
I work in tech and it still always does weird things.
Of
So
course, there you
just-
go.
Okay, I'm just gonna go to, there we go, slideshow mode. I can't see y'all. So if there's a chat or a question, please someone let me know. I'm just gonna have to take over my screen and make life easier. All right? All right,
Yes.
so jumping in here, the big impacts. Well, there's a lot of them going on. And if you're not aware, AI, we all hear about AI. What is AI? Well, AI is just the software, and it's starting to make decisions on your behalf, especially for Apple. iOS started with 18.2, they're now at 18.3. Google has massive changes coming in 2025. They actually started rolling those out already this month. What's going on? Well, they're summarizing content in your emails. They're starting to categorize your emails for you. They're really working on filtering spam out. That's their ultimate goal. And they're trying to highlight reputable senders, which is a good thing. I mean, we're always wanting to let people know what's going on. So, what does this mean for the world? Well, Apple and Google own 88% of the emails across the world, meaning that you can see here 65% of people actually use Apple, some kind of Apple device, whether it's Mac or whether it's a cell phone, to view their emails. And then when you look at Gmail, they're using that. Now, when you talk about the number of people that use Gmail to write their email, then you flip those two. But either way, these two guys own everything related to email. The rest of the world is tiny compared to them. So this is an actual email that I got. You're going to love this. At the 1st of January, my power company sent this email. Clearly, they were not aware of what was happening. And you can see basically nothing rendered. Everything is all question marks. It's, here's your payment. It went into a promotions tab because the AI didn't know what to do with this, but this is worst case scenario. Y'all may have received some of these yourself as Apple launched the new 18.2, but this is the worst case, and we want to see what we can do to make it better. So Apple did a major inbox overhaul. Apple users may be aware of this because it's been rolled out all the way back to iPhone 12. It's important because Google has done the exact same thing. So while I'm sharing this, know that we're sharing Apple, but Google is very close in how they're categorizing things, how AI now is summarizing your content. There's some image size limitations, subject lines are truncated. And what does that mean? Well, for email, for Apple, your categories are primary, transactions, updates, and promos. And if it doesn't know what to do with it, it sticks it in a promo. Primary is supposed to be those one-to-one connections. I send Jennifer an email, or Verizon sends me an email that says, "Hey, it's here's your bill," or something is updated. That'll go in transactions. When I get a shipping notice from Amazon, that'll go in updates. And then promos is everything else. These are your free deal, upgrade now, all of those kinds of things. here's the problem with AI. It's AI, it's not a person. And this is real. DirecTV sent an email. It was supposed to be $69 with a superscript for a footnote. But when AI read it, the subject line came in as DirecTV offer $691, which I just thought was absolutely hilarious. And wouldn't have believed it if it wasn't real, if it didn't come from a friend of mine. So when it goes awry, it goes awry. Now I'm going to reduce my screen now and see if there's any questions anybody has. Is there anything in the chat that we need to cover? I can't see the chat right now. Jennifer, is there anything in the chat, or are we good to keep going?
You are good to keep going. I was going to ask a question, but you answered it. So keep going.
Oh, okay. Okay. So next question. And do y'all mind if I keep it like this so that I can see y'all? Anybody opposed? Okay, great. So we talk solutions. What's going on is interesting. We as marketers want to know, how do we solve this problem? First, subject lines, less than 50 characters. I know for some of my clients, that's easy. Others have 3 lines. We're talking 90, 100, sometimes 120 characters in a subject line, which should, it's not part of best practice anyway. But we've got to get those down to less than 50. Now, Apple Mail has it, technically 78 characters. However, if you have a smaller iPhone, if you blow it up to the bigger images because you want it, like me, I wear glasses, I blow it up to make it easier to see, then that 78 changes. So the industry best practice of less than 50 characters works. And that means that if you look at this little iPhone here, and this is my actual phone, Mod Pizza, fresh salads equal 25 fresh bonus points. Nice, clean, simple, easy. Verizon, long. Tracy, get a $100 Apple Watch with that, and it all gets cut off. Domino's has figured it out. Love this. This is the next one, icons, which is where they're trying to go eventually, is make it more like social media. Free emergency pizza. I'm not kidding. I order pizza, I get an emergency pizza for you. And they're starting to use the fun little icons in here. And AI does let those icons go through, but you can see if you're reading this, obviously the pizza icon in my mind sticks out. It's different, it's interesting. And of course, if you're talking about AI, clean, clear copy. Simple copy, shorter is better. The AI will actually be able to read what's going on and summarize it for you. So let's keep moving forward. So that leads us into content solutions. This is, for me, Mod Pizza is my go-to when I want something. That's where I go. When I want some really bad for me food, I go to Mod Pizza. But it's not, you can't see the image. And that's because the new limits are 200 pixels square. Now that changes if you've got, if you have the bigger phones or you've got a tablet, all that changes. 200 covers you even down to the small little iPhones. So you may see other numbers, but this is something that, I've talked with my colleagues, and we feel this way you're covered regardless of how small the phone is someone is using. But the resolution is a big problem. Where would you find the pixel limits on other phones? You have to actually, unfortunately, if you go to Google, you can look at their particular phones and it will have the pixel limitations, but Apple has the strictest. So if you follow Apple, it covers you for everything else, at least as the world is right now. A month from now, it could change, but as of right now, Apple has the strictest limits for pixels and for character counts. We actually encourage photos because it's interesting. AI, if your renderings are correct, photos pop up, it's easy to see. AI is not going to change it, obviously. But I want everybody to remember, unsubscribing now is really, really easy. For iPhones, it's boom, it's right here. Before you even read the email, it will say, this message is from a mailing list. Do you want to unsubscribe? Which, my personal opinion, is the worst thing that could ever happen as a marketer is somebody unsubscribes and you can never talk to them again. Now, there's a lot of discussion that goes on, and I'm going to go back here, about trying to get your emails out of the promotions tab. My personal opinion, don't worry about it. If you're sending a promotion email, you're going to be in the promotions tab. The best thing you can do is try to get yourself clean renderings so that your information looks good. The summarize button here, which at this time was actually voluntary, you could tell it to summarize or not. It's as features are rolled out, this is taking over. Make sure everything is just clean and simple. Is there a
So
true?
2 questions. Yeah.
Yes, I
Best.
saw that. Is any of this true for Outlook company email domains? Not yet. So Microsoft has announced they are adding in, I'm going to go back here. They are adding in folders and categories in 2025. I checked about 2 weeks ago. There is nothing released yet to show what it's going to look like. People are guessing, but Microsoft hasn't shared anything. So they're going to start having all of these kinds of folders also. And, you know, as soon as we know what it is, happy to share that. But as of right now, we don't know. But they're going to the same kind of look and feel. And then Jennifer, can you read that question, since I can only see the questions when they pop up for me?
Yes. We had a prior question that was, what is the best performing image size in an email that also has a lot of text?
Interesting question. I've never looked at it that way, to be honest. In terms of performance, the way I personally, when I'm doing an email, I like to have it, the image has to be relevant. So for me personally, because I do obviously consumer, I do B2C and B2B. In B2B, it's always images of people. So if we're going to an event, here's your speaker, and we have an image of the speaker. Instead of just, you know, hey, we have speakers coming and a column head, I actually put a photograph of the speakers. One, it's really interesting because they're real people and you get a chance to see them. 2, it's really good for any of your alternative folks who may be hearing impaired, or, you know, they can actually see the photographs and make a connection. So for me, for consumer, it's a little different. I've never looked at it specifically. Me personally, really great is when you have images that resonate to whatever the offer is. So if you're talking about a new cell phone, you know, I did this with a client for the holidays. If you've got a cell phone, show the cell phone. If you're talking about home internet service, then show a picture of home and the family and everyone connected together. The picture has to make sense. That's my personal perspective. And that's how, when I've had the best success, is when the picture is there to enhance the conversation, not just there because. Did you say there was something you could do in the subject line that would enable your email? I'm sorry, the truncation got cut off. Can you read the rest of that one, Jennifer, for me, please?
Yes, it says, did you say there was something you can do in the subject line that will enable your email to go to primary versus promos?
No. There are a lot of very smart marketers who are trying to, if you will, game the system right now and get themselves out of promo or their clients out of promo into one-to-one. As of now, AI is still learning. So you will see promos that go in there if it's mirroring as if it's a one-to-one. But when you are sending it as part of a mailing list, it's gonna show up in promos. Now, there are hackers that are figuring this out. Y'all will probably see a bunch of case studies that have come out. Forbes is really great for that, on what hackers are doing to make it look as if it's not coming from a mailing list. So they get into primary and then hopefully, you know, they're thinking you'll click on it. Again, this is my personal opinion. It's okay to be in promos. Just make sure your email stands out. So let's move forward, because I want to share with you a couple of suggestions that I think will help answer those questions if we'll keep moving to that direction. So the big thing for content solutions, you've got to do renderings. You've got to test it. Clearly, my energy company did not check the rendering even on their own cell phone. When I have a new email, I have it sent to my phone so I can see it. What does it look like? Even for me, what does it look like? So that I know, okay, if I was a customer, this is what's happening. So you've got to check it on all the platforms, Google, Apple, Outlook. I mean, if you go back to, if you do those three, you've pretty much covered the vast majority of everything that happens in the world. But check dark mode always, because there are a lot of people who like dark mode. And we see so many problems with images when you flip them to dark mode that don't work. So just make sure that's a check. And you can do that depending on what you're using. If you're using a Marketo, or if you're using a Stencil, you know, any of those platforms, usually it's just a button click. Boom, what does it look like in dark mode? Make sure you check mobile and desktop. You're using responsive design. I know that's been around for more than a decade, but make sure you check both to see how it's rendering. And then check for AI impacts. When you're looking at it, are things not rendering? Is AI summarizing it in some weird way? Is it truncating your subject line? Or is it summarizing content like DirecTV? Oh, wait a minute, we need to change those footnotes because it thinks the one superscript is actually part of a dollar value. So check all of those kinds of things. And it's not hard to do. You can usually do it in whatever software is creating the email, or if you're using a service provider, they'll send you a test email. Take a look, see what's happening. Just you visually doing it would have fixed this problem for the energy company. So if we add subject line description, does AI still summarize it? Subject line description, yes, it does. AI is summarizing things, and I know for Apple and Google both, they're continuing to push AI to do this work for them. And it's really all about, if you read everything that they put out, it's all about customer security. They're trying desperately to minimize spoofs and hackers and make your email safer. But AI is so new, it's just making a lot of mistakes right now. So the best way to do is just every time you're doing a campaign, test. Because what I'm telling you today, when Google finishes rolling out their AI at the end of this month, it may be different. We don't know until we actually see what happens. So just keep testing it. This is, I think, probably one of the best pieces of advice I can give right now is branded mail and Apple Business Connect. So what does that mean? Right here. So if you get approval through Apple Mail and you go and you actually submit your logo and your brand, you get verified, meaning that your company logo shows up in the inbox. Hey, this is from United Airlines. Okay, I can trust it because Apple has verified this really is United Airlines. It's free to do. Now, in the back end, there's things you have to have done to get to the point to meet the requirements for branded mail. But most companies have already done all that anyway. So I highly recommend you go there. I've got a link. I'm assuming we share this. If not, you can just type in, you know, in your search engine, Apple branded mail, and it'll pop right up what you need to do. It's free. It takes about 10 days for them to review your case, but that's assuming you've got your logo. You have to share your logo in a certain format and, you know, all of these kinds of things. Moving to the next one, other brand level solutions. And whether these make sense or not varies depending upon how many emails you send. BIMI, I don't know how many people have heard of this, but BIMI is right now the industry standard. It's called Brand Indicators for Message Identification. Through most platforms, Google and Yahoo, specifically, if you're in BIMI, so instead of just coming in with a simple circle, your logo comes into the email and it's certifying that, hey, you know, this is your logo certified and you are who you say you are. DMARC, I don't know how many people have heard of DMARC, but this is the one that verifies your domain. Google uses it and Yahoo uses it right here, and Apple uses it. Pretty much everybody uses it. And you get the little check mark. Hey, this is a certified. This person is who they say they are. There's a couple of different ways to get your little certification. There's a common mark certification, verified mark certification. All of this could be a half-a-day panel discussion on what you need, what you don't need, but I would encourage you to talk to whoever your email service provider is, if you're a larger company, and ask them, hey, do we have DMARC? Do we have BIMI? If we do, great, let's go for Apple branded mail. If you don't, and let's say you're a smaller company, you can still get DMARC for free if you're sending a smaller number of emails. The cost of all of these, BIMI is free. However, to get BIMI, you have to have DMARC, and DMARC can cost nothing, or it can cost tens of thousands of dollars a month. It all depends upon how big you are and how many emails that you're sending. We're talking, one of my clients sends tens of millions of emails a week, not a month, a week. Obviously, they pay a lot more for the certification than the small company, or, if you're looking at a nonprofit, all of that is totally different, but worth having a good conversation with whoever your email service provider is about these opportunities. And there was a chat that popped up, Jennifer, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that was just from me and you answered my question.
Okay, great. I love that.
Thanks.
Okay, so I always love to end a presentation on what can you do? Okay, you've got some great information. What am I going to do with it? Well, tomorrow you can go and look at your emails, whatever journeys you've got going out that are your standard emails. What's the subject line link? Boom, that's an easy one you can do right away. Shorten that subject line so that it gets through Apple, and then Google that is launching is going to be right behind it with all of those restrictions. Check your image sizes. Make sure it's meeting the smallest requirement, which right now is around 200 pixels. And then, across all platforms, you're good to go, barring some strange platform I've never heard of. Let's say all the biggies that you're good to go. And then perform your rendering test. Send your email to yourself. How does it look? How does it look on my desktop? How does it look on my phone? And then ask your ESP about certifications, and then have a good conversation about what makes sense for you based on the number of emails you send. Are you nonprofit? Are you for-profit, consumer business, so forth? And then this is always test new content, test new images. Are you getting higher clicks? Are you getting higher sales? That's how you know. Are customers engaging with you? Use your heat maps. Understand if you make these changes, is their impact? And if you can document, hey, it actually made a very positive impact. Well, one, you can change your emails to make sense. And then two, it's great news to share up the stream. Look at the KPIs that we did by paying attention to what's going on in the market. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing, and we're good timing. I was supposed to do for 30 minutes. We're at right at 30 minutes. So very good, but I'm going to open it up to just general questions. Anybody who wants to come online, I don't know if we can open it up and have conversations, let people share their faces.
No
Or
question is
anything in the
dumb.
chat.
No question is too dumb. And I think you could probably raise your hand, or you could also ask in chat.
Share your Outlook. I'm looking through the chat to see if there's anything.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
This might be dumb, but
There's no dumb questions, because I ask those kinds of questions all the time.
I'm just kind of curious what some of our attendees, what platforms they're using, as in, and maybe this is what their tech stack is. Like, is HubSpot easier than Constant Contact for email marketing? Is MailChimp, like, are there some that are better than others when dealing with AI and this kind of stuff? So even before it deploys, they kind of catch you on the front end of it. That anybody knows? This is for Tracy, or if anybody has a preference, what you think works best.
I can't speak for AI specifically, but I can let you know that I'm in e-commerce, mostly D2C and B2B. We find Klaviyo to be a fantastic platform because it tightly integrates with Shopify and other e-commerce online stores.
What was the name of that?
Klaviyo is
Klaviyo.
Klaviyo. Clavio, Clavio. Yeah, some people say Clavio, but I checked with them. They say Clavio for sure. Yeah, it's fantastic because it's tight integration, and actually it does a lot of like CMS stuff as well. So meaning that, or CRM, excuse me. So you have like customer relationship management in there in the sense where you can see basically what pages they're browsing and things like that. They haven't notified us as customers about what Apple is doing and what Google is planning on doing. And I think it's unfortunate they also don't have a dark mode setting in their emails. But I do hear there's a software that we did take a look at. It's called Litmus. I don't know if anybody else here has used it. Tracy probably has. Yeah, that's a really good software for like testing out your emails on different platforms to see how they look and how they render, and it'll automatically let you know if there's any issues with those emails as well.
Don, that's a fantastic idea, and it's something that I didn't share yet. Yeah, there are all kinds of software. Litmus is one of the good ones that will show you. You run it through and it'll test everything for you. So if you're a marketer and you're sending lots of emails, it's not just a few hundred every month. If you're sending a lot of emails, Litmus is a good one. Email on Acid is a good one. Preview My Email is a good one. There's lots of platforms out there. It's everything from free to monthly fees based on the volume of emails that you need to render. Highly encourage that and good one, really good call out, Dawn.
I might just have like a quick follow-up. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to. I was in a meeting and I couldn't catch the first 5 minutes of your presentation, but I did catch up on when you were mentioning 200 pixels is pretty much like what we're looking for, I assume, just on mobile. Seems kind of small to me, but is that like a standard that specifically the Apple Mail app is looking at here?
No, Apple Mail has a standard, and I'm going off memory. It's some weird number like 378 pixels.
Yeah, okay.
It's a very obscure number, and forgive me, it's close to that. What I've done with some of my colleagues and some what I would call ESP experts on the ANA Email Experience Council board, we kind of put together, okay, 200 pixels covers you across the board. It covers you on all the different phones, on all the different sizes, based on what you're looking at. You can certainly go bigger because Apple has the 300-esque, Google has its own. You can pick whatever you want. I personally like covering 200 because Apple says anything 200, that's under 200 will render no problem. And that's where I want to get to. I don't want to push the limit and then worry, does it render, doesn't render, if they have big phone, little phone, if they're shrinking it, blowing up. That's why I'm using 200 pixels because Apple, when they were originally sending everything out back in, it was like last September, 200 pixels was in there. Okay, you're covered. That's why, but it's your choice. You can certainly try it on lots of different phones. But if, next month, if Google comes out with one of their phones and it's tiny, then you have to start the whole process all over again.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that that's for mobile only. So when you have like the desktop versions, you might scale larger.
Oh, yeah. Desktop is desktop. Yeah. Desktop, you can absolutely scale up. Oh, yeah. I'm talking, this specifically was for mobile because those pixels changed so dramatically from what it had been in the past.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, good conversation.
Anybody else have any questions? Thoughts? Success stories, failure stories?
I'm curious, do y'all use an ESP or an agency to create your emails, or do y'all craft them yourselves? I wish I had a Kudo board where I could have people raise their hands, but anybody do it themselves? Old school uses Outlook, uses like a stencil and creates it all themselves?
We do use Carnegie Dartlet.
Not familiar with that one.
It's a higher education shop, pretty big across. But sometimes I wonder if I'm going to come away from this lunch and learn and definitely ask them if they're, if they're doing that Be Me and all that stuff, because
Yeah.
we have a pretty high open rate, but I do still think it should be better for what we're,
Yeah. And I'm going to, if you don't mind, Jennifer, I'm going to feed off of that question and just say, for me personally, I never look at open rates ever. And I'll tell you why, because back in September 2022, Apple started flagging any email that goes across their platform. They flagged it as open. It's a security thing. They're trying to, make everybody, keep your information private. They don't want you to know, did they open it? Did they not open it? So that you can't retarget and send more what they would consider junk emails to people because they didn't open. Now, Apple is doing it with a white hat perspective. They're trying to take care of their customers, but because everything that is opened on any iOS platform, and that includes Mac computers and Apple iPhones, the open rate is always showing it's open. So unless you have very sophisticated back-end data analytics that can say you opened it on an iPhone versus you opened it somewhere else, then your open rates are all muddled.
Mike Pernice had a question. Does AI copy impact the email filter positively or negatively?
Okay, let me go to the chat and get that one. I wanted to get that one again. Does AI copy impact email filter? The answer is I think I understand what you're asking. When you're talking about filtering it into different categories, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, so like looking at, so utilizing, right, ChatGPT to write up
Oh
my
yeah,
email,
yeah.
is that going to impact whether or not, like, how that gets filtered, even just going straight to a spam box, or
It should.
the
It
different
shouldn't.
categories?
It shouldn't. If it does, I have not heard of that happening yet. It's not looking at the quality of the content or how the content was created. It's just looking at the words and based on everything that's there, summarizing it. So think of it like you would as a chat GPT. If you use the word free 40 times in your email, free is going to pop up and that's immediately going to send you to promotions. If you use the word, special offer, if, whatever you're using, that's what it's looking for and trying to summarize things. But to my knowledge, I've never heard of how you create your content as having any impact on AI, but it's really interesting. And I'll bring it up to some of my colleagues and see if anyone else has seen that.
Yeah, because I know that there's been discussions on utilizing, like, for example, with blog content, right, and helping with, to optimize with SEO. There's been rumors that with Google search and some of the improvements or updates that they're making with Google search and how items are, being filtered and shown on your search result page, how AI copy versus regular human copy, how those are actually that is negatively impacting businesses because they're actually filtering out the AI content to show you stuff that is natively being made. So I didn't know if the same thing was applying to email.
Yeah, I have not heard that. I mean, I'm not an SEO expert, so I had not heard that, but it's really interesting. So I am going to pose the question to my colleagues, but I am also very curious how the AI thinks what is AI generated content. We all know, we've all done it. I've had other people I've spoken with saying, we can all recognize AI created content. You can't say why. You can just read it and go, yeah, AI did that. So that might be coming soon. That's something I'm going to watch out for. I personally, I'm not averse to AI, but I've written a lot of copy in my life, so I like writing it because I know what I want to say. But I think I have clients who are playing with having AI do the first draft, and then the copywriters come in and refine it and make it in their own voice. That I think makes total sense because it expedites things when it's going through an ad agency, but it still has the personal feel to it. Now, In 5 years, AI may be writing everything. I don't know. I don't trust AI to write things because I work on a lot of very technical products and it's just not there yet. It doesn't understand SaaS and cloud service and edge computing. It can't figure out what to do. So when AI's tried to write that, it's way, way wrong. But it will get there as people continue to feed the chat GPTs. It's going to get there. It's just a
Can
question
I
of how long.
I have a
Yeah,
couple
go ahead.
questions, Tracy, to follow up. So first, it was really interesting when you started telling about those red flags for the software to scan and see free promotion. So if you can tell us more about what are those watch outs to avoid. And the second, you also started talking about open rates, that it's not a very reliable metric. So what would be a reliable metric? Probably clicks. So tell us more about how you would measure the engagement, the real, yeah.
I'll talk about the KPIs. For me personally, I haven't used open rates in a while, other than as just a general barometer. If your open rate is 0, you got a problem. If your open rate is 100%, you got a problem. That's all. I use it as an identifier. I'm big on customer engagement. Did they click on something? Now there's AI that's starting to do all kinds of clicks on your behalf when things open. We're not going to go down that bunny trail because that's just emerging tech. But look at your click rates. What are people clicking on? Look at heat maps. I love heat maps because you can really see, okay, where did people spend their time? What did they click on? Are they getting to the bottom of your email? Even if you think bots did clicks for you, but if 90% of your clicks are above the fold and you've got an email that has like 3 scrolls deep, then your email is too long and people are not paying attention. And so that gets to the free thing. It's understanding customer engagement. And there's a lot of good work that's happening trying to make those clicks connect to take rates. Understanding, did they actually take? When we did this email, yes, the clicks were higher. And oh, by the way, the take rates were a lot higher. Making that connection. It's not as simple as just they clicked on something. Did they actually buy also? So for me, that's it. But if you want to talk one thing, heat maps are my favorite thing in the world because no amount of bots can change where people spent their time when you're looking at an email. Your other question was in terms of what you see. There are words that will get you immediately into promotions. There are words that will make the AIs think you are spam. Those are proprietary algorithms. They're never going to share what that is. But we all know just from personal experience, if you see free 14 times in an email, not good, probably not reputable. If you're getting it from your cell phone provider, they may say, hey, we've got a great offer for you. Okay, that makes sense. Also, I personally start looking at those certifications. Do they have the check mark? Are they Google certified? That's what makes me think, okay, this is a good email. This is a promotion. If it comes from my cell phone company, okay, it has the verified check mark. Yes, it is actually from Verizon. I'm going to open it and see what's going on. Versus if it summarizes and the summary says free offer, free to customers, free, beyond free, it's now. And we all see that with the hackers and the phishing. They're getting away from the word free and they're starting to do that sense of urgency. Today only, act immediately, all of those kinds of things. Those make me uncomfortable as a customer. And then if you go to your Apples and Googles and you start asking those kinds of questions, they will tell you that will get flagged as promotions, most likely because it feels like it's phishing. It feels like it's spam because it's not a genuine offer. It's, got to do something right away. What about words deadline extended? It's a new world. I don't know is the answer. I just know the words that I personally avoid and colleagues avoid. Free is always scary because hackers and spammers love free. And it's that immediate must act today, must act now. That does not give an authentic voice. Because if it's a good offer and it's something for an existing customer and you're in promotions, then it needs to be, hey, an offer just for you. Make it feel personal, make it feel relevant. But those big giant buzzwords that we all know when we read emails that make us say, no, this one's not real.
We had a prior question. Thank you. We had a prior question. Jasmine says, our emails generate unique UTMs. Am I able to track all the way to conversations and track the ROI?
Actually, I was just stating that that's what I do to track the ROI.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was gonna say,
It
yeah,
wasn't
Yeah.
yeah. And
Sorry.
you're one of the lucky ones that can do that, because I have clients that can't. You know, the systems are not integrated. So if you can click all the way through without manual entry, I
Yeah, so
applaud you. I would love to have
it's a
that.
third-party vendor. So like Google Analytics will only get you so far with this kind of data. You know, I think everybody here probably knows that it's limited. But yeah, I'm in financial services, so we're tracking completed applications and funded applications. So I'm able to see, even from just like our newsletters, any kind of maybe funded applications that are coming through from that. And we're utilizing that by pulling in our application data into this workboard, and it shows it. So we were able to really get down into the nitty-gritty this past year, looking at like the work we've been doing on automations and journeys in our emails, trying to kind of get inactive accounts reactivated. It's been essential.
Yeah, I wish I could get all of my clients there. And it's just when you're dealing with grandfathered systems and patchwork things, it becomes really difficult. When you start from scratch, easy. So that's phenomenal. But if you have to do it, and I've got a client, I do this, we do it manually. We go once a quarter and we look at the heat maps, we do the analysis, we look at the take rates and kind of understand, even though it doesn't flow, we can still see, okay, this holiday offer, these heat maps, here's the take rates. Okay, in the summer when we did this is what's happened. So you can still make some educated analysis assumptions, even if you don't have the clear one-to-one connection.
Any recommended softwares for tracking the conversions or
Tracking your results.
yeah, tracking conversions. I know just
Tracking conversions. That is such a gigantic question. It depends upon how big you are. You know, are you a relatively small company or a nonprofit, or you work for a mega Fortune 500? You don't have to tell me who, just
no, right now just for a nonprofit.
okay. If you use like a Marketo that can do all of that for you, that's an easy way to do it. If you get your information from your ESP and then you have your dashboard data separately, then it has to be manual. I'm not aware of any software that kind of connects the two together specifically, but I'd love to know if there is software people have used to like connect your Marketo analytics all the way over to your sales analytics. They're coming in a dashboard. Does anybody have a solution for that? For me, it's just manual.
My name's Ben. I work in nonprofit marketing. I think there are a lot of ECRMs that are built specifically for nonprofits. A lot of my clients are on one called Engaging Networks. Every Action is another big one. And in those platforms, you can often build the sign up page and the donation page in the same platform that you're building the email in. So that allows for, I think, like really effective conversion tracking where there's a source code built into the page, and then you can also apply sourcing like on the URL. So you can have sourcing for multiple links within the same page, tracking to like say 5 email campaign. Each email has a different link directing to the same page. So I think looking at platforms designed for nonprofits that have the functionality to build sign up and donation pages is a really good fit if your budget allows for it.
That's great, Ben. Thank you. I did not know that. So I learned something new. Thank you.
It's relevant to my world. So
Yeah. See, I have worked for and with mega like Fortune 10 companies. And so, you know, their sales coming from all over the world, and their IT departments that take all of the different email and then all of the different, and then mesh it together manually, which is a painful process, but that's how it has to be done when you've got, you know, offices all over the world. And I don't know how we are on time, Jennifer. So that's if we're done, you know, I'm happy to stay if people have questions and discussions, because I've learned a couple of really great things here.
Yeah,
we're cognizant of everyone's time.
We have, I guess, and Mike can correct me. It's 10 to 1. These end, I think, at 12:55. So we do have about 5 minutes for questions, but we can also disconvene, unconvene, early. Probably a lot of writers on here, so, I'm
Okay,
sure.
I will ask if you find what I'm talking about interesting, or if you want to connect, I'm on LinkedIn. I love making connections with folks. This is not a sales pitch. This is me personally. I like my network. I like knowing what's going on, so that next time I have a nonprofit question, Ben, I'll come to you and say, hey, wait a minute. Because I do personal charity work, and I'm gonna say, hey, Ben, you know what? We're trying to do an email. Talk to me about what you had. If you don't, so I like those connections. So hit me up on LinkedIn if y'all don't mind.
Sounds good. Likewise on consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. I love, yeah, I'm happy to share my opinion, good, bad, or otherwise. I'll make sure you know it's an opinion, but happy to.
And
Okay,
please,
and
everybody,
Pittsburgh, that's
join.
a great one. I don't live in Pittsburgh. I live in Dallas.
I know. So I think you just need to join the Marketing Associate AMA, get your national membership, I think, and then you connect with your local.
I want to talk with, you offline, or some of the other folks, to see how I can, because I'm not in AMA, and it's like, why not? I should be.
Yeah, these are our people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will tell you, this is the most engaging conversation I've had in a long time giving speeches. Normally I just talk, give my thoughts, and I get one or two questions, but this is fantastic. So I definitely will be trying to make some connections to the AMA in Dallas.
Great. And everybody who is not a member here, please become one, and share with your friends, family, relatives, pets. Does anybody have anything else you want to talk about, something that wasn't answered, or something, kind of a good pro tip or hack or something that anybody might have?
Well, I just want to add, maybe Mike wants to make any announcements for future events.
Yeah, thank you. So again, Tracy, thank you so much for all the information that you went over today. I agree, this was a really engaging conversation. It was really nice to see such a packed room as well for this event. So thank you again for volunteering your time to speak with us today. So greatly appreciated. In terms of other events that we have coming up, we have a packed full calendar over the next couple months. We have our coffee connections, which is always the third Wednesday of every month. We have that coming up here on March 19th over at Cohatch and Shadyside. We also have a great opportunity to engage with the community through our partnership with Bellevue Forward. They are putting on a hackathon / case study program. It's going to take place over in Bellevue. That's going to be on March, I believe it's 21st. And that one is spearheaded by RJ Thompson, who runs Bellevue Forward, ourselves, Allegheny Health Network, Roland School of Business, AIGA. There's a lot of partners involved in that initiative. Again, that's going to be on March 21st from, I believe it's 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. There's different sessions throughout the day. So if you're not able to commit for the whole day, but are only able to attend, the morning session or the afternoon session, again, highly encourage you guys to check that out. And then in April, we have our healthcare panel discussion coming up. We're really excited for this one. We're going to have some people, some panelists, not only from our region, but also outside our region. So bringing in some national speakers as well. And that is going to be held at Carlow University. I believe the date we settled on for that is April 22nd. There's still some final details to get nailed in for that event, but that will be up on our website and in our email here shortly, probably over the next couple days. And then we have Lunch and Learn. Jennifer already has pretty much this entire year lined up for our webinar speakers. And all the event information can be found right on our event page on our website. So I encourage you guys to go there, look at the events that we have coming up. If there's ones that speak to you, feel free to sign up for them. If you're not finding events that speak to you, that's your opportunity to reach out to us and let us know what type of events you are looking for, right? So we try to do our best in terms of, gathering information from the community to help drive our program efforts. So we always encourage you to reach out to us if there's something that we're not offering that would be of value to you and to the rest of the community. So again, you can check that out on our website. And then just to wrap things up here, we will have a thank you email going out probably within the next 24 to 48 hours, where a copy of Tracy's slide deck plus the link to the recording will be sent. So that way you have that for your records and you can share that with your team as you wish. And if there's any questions, comments, concerns that you have regarding this webinar topic today, I encourage you to reach out to us and we'll do our best to field those questions and get answers over to you as soon as we can. So thank you, everyone. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a tremendous rest of your day.